Let me ask you something, my friend have you ever stopped and looked at your life? I mean, really looked. And thought to yourself, how did I get here? Because here's the truth. Most people don't live life by design. They live it by default. They wake up not because they want to, but because the alarm clock says so. They go to jobs they don't like, to earn just enough to survive, to come home to a routine that repeats itself tomorrow. That's not living. That's existing. That's autopilot. And I came here to shake you out of it. Because the first step to living life on your terms is simple. You've got to wake up. Section 110, the trap of default living. Here's what default living looks like. You follow the script. The same script everyone else follows. Go to school. Get a job. Get married. Pay the bills. Wait for retirement. And then, maybe live. That's the formula, isn't it? But here's the tragedy. You never wrote that script. Someone else handed it to you. It was handed down by society, tradition, even family. And while their intentions may have been good, the result isn't. Because now you're living their version of life, not yours. Jim Rohn used to say, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. That's the painful truth. So let me ask you again, whose plan are you living? Section 2 Why we fall asleep. Nobody chooses to sleepwalk through life. It just happens. Life gets busy. You're trying to make ends meet. You're raising kids, handling responsibilities. You don't even have time to think, let alone design. But listen, that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Because once you stop thinking, you stop choosing. And once you stop choosing, you start drifting. And drift is the slow death of dreams. You don't crash suddenly. You fade quietly, slowly, and without resistance. You stop asking questions. You stop challenging yourself. You stop imagining anything different. Jim Rohn called it the disease of neglect. Neglect enough today, and you'll pay a heavy price tomorrow. Section 3A, the first step, awareness. Now here's the good news. It doesn't matter how long you've been on autopilot. It doesn't matter how old you are, how broke you feel, or how deep in routine you've become. The moment you become aware, you regain power. Think of it like this. You're driving down a road you didn't choose. The GPS was set by someone else. And for years, you didn't even question it. But suddenly you realize, this isn't where I want to go. Now what? You grab the wheel. You stop the car. You reroute. That's what awareness does. It wakes you up to the truth. You are the driver, not the passenger. Section 40 signs you're living by default. Let's get real for a moment. Are you living life on your terms or someone else's? Here are some warning signs you might be on autopilot. You dread Mondays and live for weekends. You can't remember the last time you felt excited about your goals. You scroll more than you plan. You say yes when you want to say no. Just to avoid conflict, you settle because you're afraid to start over. You've stopped dreaming because what's the point? If even one of these rings true, it's time to wake up. Section 5E, the power of intention. Here's the secret. You don't need to change your entire life overnight. You just need to start living intentionally. Every day, ask yourself, what do I want? What matters most to me? What am I tolerating that I shouldn't be? What do I need to say no to so I can say yes to what matters? Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for motivation. Action creates clarity, and clarity leads to direction. Jim said it best. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. Start changing direction today. Section 6Z, exercise. The life audit. Let's do something powerful. Take a notebook and write down 3 columns. What's working in your life? What's not working? What needs to change? Starting now. Be brutally honest. This is your wake up call. You can't change what you don't confront. And remember, this isn't about blame. It's about responsibility. You're not responsible for the script you were handed, but you are responsible for rewriting it. Section 7A, the cost of staying asleep. Here's the harsh reality. The longer you stay asleep, the more it costs you. It costs you time. It costs you peace. It costs you growth. And worst of all, it costs you who you could have become. Default living leads to quiet desperation. People smile in public and scream in silence. They post motivational quotes but live uninspired lives. Don't be one of them. You weren't born to just fit in. You were born to stand out, to lead, to grow, to become more. But you've got to choose it. Section 80, final thoughts. Choose to wake up. So here's your message today. Clear and simple. Wuduaki. Don't let the clock, the culture, or the crowd dictate your life. Take your time back. Take your thoughts back. Take your vision back. Because once you wake up, you can start walking toward a life that's yours. Remember, this is just part 1. Next, we'll talk about how to reclaim your identity and define what living on your terms actually looks like. Because awareness is only the beginning. Action is where the magic begins. Now that you've woken up, at least mentally, it's time to take the next step. But before we can talk about designing your ideal life or setting big goals, we have to ask a powerful, yet often uncomfortable question. Who are you really? Not your job title, not your role in the family, not your social media bio, but you, the core of you. Because if you don't know who you are, you'll live life based on who others expect you to be. And remember what Jim Rohn said, the major key to your better future is you. So in this part, we'll break the false identities. We'll strip away the noise, the labels, the fear, and we'll get back to the real you. Section 1T, the danger of external identity from childhood. We're shaped by voices, parents, teachers, media, culture. They tell us what to think, what to believe, what success looks like, what failure means, who we're supposed to be. And over time, we stop questioning. We become what they expect. We wear masks that please others, but suffocate us. Let me tell you something. There's no freedom in being who you're expected to be. Freedom only comes when you become who you're meant to be. So if you're going to live life on your terms, you have to do the inner work of discovering what's me and what's noise. Section 2Is, common identity traps. Let's look at some false identities people get trapped in. 1. The performer, you live for applause. You base your worth on how much people admire you. But when the crowd leaves, you don't know who you are. 2. The provider, you take care of everyone, but forget yourself. Your identity is tied to being needed. But when nobody needs you, you feel invisible. 3. The perfectionist, you think your value comes from doing everything flawlessly. But perfection is a mask for fear, the fear of being seen as not enough. 4. The pleaser, you say yes to everything, just to keep peace. But inside, you're at war with your own desires. Let me remind you, as Jim Rohn willed, you've got to stand guard at the door of your mind. And that includes guarding who you allow to define you. Section 3Z, self-discovery. Not luxury, but necessity. A lot of people think self-discovery is a luxury, that it's only for people with free time or a midlife crisis. But that's wrong. Self-discovery is a survival skill, because if you don't know who you are, you'll fall for anything. So how do you start? By asking powerful, uncomfortable, revealing questions. Let's look at a few. Section 40, the deep questions. Ask yourself honestly. These questions aren't just to read. They're to reflect on. Take your time. Write them down, and most importantly, answer with truth, not ego. 1. What are my values? The non-negotiables. What truly matters to me, even if others disagree. 2. What am I pretending not to know? What truth am I avoiding because it's inconvenient or scary? 3. When was the last time I felt fully alive? What was I doing? Who was I with? What did it reveal? 4. If I could remove fear, what would I do differently? What would I pursue? What would I leave? 5. What am I tired of pretending to be? What mask am I exhausted from wearing? These questions are mirrors. They reveal the difference between the life you have and the life you're meant for. Section 50, rewriting the script. Once you become aware of false identity, you must rewrite it. Don't just subtract, replace. Don't just strip away, rebuild. And that means consciously choosing new beliefs, new values, and new self-definitions. Here's a simple process to follow. 1. Name the old identity. Example, I'm just average. I'm not a risk taker. I always mess things up. 2. Challenge the lie. Ask, is this true? Where did I learn this? What evidence proves otherwise? 3. Write the new identity. Example, I am a fast learner. I face challenges with courage. I am becoming more confident every day. Write it. Say it. Affirm it. Live it. Not once, but daily. Repetition builds identity. As Jim Rohn said, affirmation without discipline is the beginning of delusion. But affirmation with action is transformation. Section 6C. Identity and decision making. Now here's where things get real powerful. Your identity doesn't just affect your thoughts. It drives your decisions. If you see yourself as unworthy, you'll reject opportunities. If you see yourself as a failure, you won't even try. If you see yourself as too late, you'll give up before you start. So when you shift identity, you shift your entire life trajectory. The right identity leads to better decisions, bolder actions, deeper confidence, healthier boundaries, bigger vision. And that's exactly what living life on your terms demands. Section 70V, exercise. Create your identity blueprint. Here's an exercise Jim Rohn would love. Design your identity intentionally, like a blueprint. Take a piece of paper and write, I am, I believe, I value, I don't tolerate, I am becoming. Write these in present tense, even if they don't feel true. Yet, write them as truth in motion. Example, I am focused and disciplined. I believe my life is my responsibility. I value honesty, growth, and purpose. I don't tolerate distractions or excuses. I am becoming a powerful speaker and leader. This becomes your inner compass. Read it every day. Let it reshape how you walk, speak, think, and decide. Section 80, Final Thoughts. Become who you were meant to be. Let me close this part with a simple reminder. You don't have to find yourself. You have to create yourself. You are not your past. You are not your paycheck. You are not your mistakes. You are the author of your identity. So the next time you look in the mirror, don't just see what the world has labeled you. See who you are becoming, by choice, by design, by courage. And once your identity changes, your actions will change. Your results will change. Your entire life will change. So you've woken up. You've stripped away the noise. You've begun to redefine who you really are. Now comes the most exciting and most terrifying part: designing your life. Not surviving it. Not enduring it. Designing it. And let me remind you of something Jim Rohn said that changed my life. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. And change doesn't just happen. It's crafted, carved, built day by the hands of someone who dares to take the wheel. Let's begin. Section 110, the myth of a ready-made life. We live in a world that sells us templates. This is what a successful life looks like. This is how you should live, dress, earn, speak. This is what you should want. It's like shopping for clothes. But none of them are tailored to you. You wear what fits. Okay. You settle for what's available. And then you convince yourself that's all there is. But life is not a one-size-fits-all experience. The greatest tragedy. Most people spend more time planning a vacation than they do planning their life. Jim Rohn said, if you don't like how things are, change it. You're not a tree. Section 2 of the power of designing on paper first. Here's a simple principle: design first. Live second. You don't build a house by winging it. You start with a blueprint. You plan every wall, every room, every window. Yet most people live their life with no blueprint. They wake up and let the day decide what happens. They let bills, bosses, traffic, and trends dictate how they feel and where they go. But high performers, they decide. They design. So today we're going to walk through building your life blueprint. Section 3E. The 6 areas of intentional living. To live life on your terms, you must design each major area of life. 1. Health, not just absence of illness, but energy, stamina, vitality. How do you want to feel every day? 2. Mindset and growth. What do you want to learn, believe, and master? What kind of thoughts will run your life? 3. Career and contribution. What work lights you up? How do you want to contribute to the world? 4. Finances. What kind of financial life do you want? Security, freedom, legacy. 5. Relationships. What kinds of people do you want to surround yourself with? What kind of partner, friend, or parent do you want to be? 6. Lifestyle and experiences. Where do you want to live? What kind of adventures do you want? How do your days feel? When you become intentional in each area, you stop drifting and start designing. Section 4A. Vision crafting. Let it be specific. A goal without a picture is powerless. You need clarity. So here's the exercise. Pick 1 year from today. Close your eyes. Imagine your ideal day, the one you designed. Ask yourself, where do I wake up? What's the first thing I feel? Who's with me? What do I do next? What work am I doing? How do I feel physically? What kind of people do I talk to today? What time do I finish work? What do I do for fun, growth, or peace? Write this out in vivid detail. Make it real. Make it rich. Because if you can't see it in your mind, you'll never see it in your life. Section 50. Breaking down big dreams into daily design. Once you see your dream clearly, you need to reverse engineer it. Here's how. 1. Break it into projects. Example: want to be a speaker. Project 1: join a local group. Project 2: create your first speech. Project 30: book your first event. 2. Break projects into daily steps. If a project takes 90 days, what do you need to do each week? What about each day? 3. Put it on the calendar. A goal that doesn't live in your calendar is just a wish. Start assigning time blocks to your dream. Jim said, don't start the day until it is finished on paper. Section 6Z. The habits that make your design work. You don't need more discipline. You need better systems. Here are 5 core habits that align with designing life on your terms. Morning ownership. Start your day with your vision, not your phone. 30 minutes of silence, goals, gratitude, and planning. A daily planning. Write down your top 3 priorities. Not a to-do list, a results list. What matters most today? Weekly review, reflect on what worked and what didn't. Adjust, refocus. Learn every day, read, listen, watch, or write. Grow your mind like you grow your body. Environment design, surround yourself with tools, reminders, people, and places that support your vision. Jim Rohn taught us, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose your circle wisely and design your days powerfully. Section 70, the power of saying no. The hidden design tool, one of the most powerful design tools you have. The word no. No to distractions. No to draining people. No to anything that doesn't align with your designed life. Saying no is not selfish. It's strategic. When you say no to what's not right, you say yes to what is. If you don't start saying no, your designed life will always stay on paper and never become real. Section 80, final thoughts. Become the architect of your life. Let's wrap this up with one powerful truth. You are not just a product of life. You are the architect of it. You're not here to drift. You're not here to react. You're not here to survive. You're here to create, to contribute, to thrive. So grab the pen, take the wheel, design your year, design your month, design your day. Because when you live intentionally, even the hard days have meaning. Even the setbacks build you. Even the ordinary becomes extraordinary. And remember what Jim Rohn said. Set a goal to become a millionaire, not for the money, but for what it will make of you to achieve it. Because that's the point, not what you get, but who you become. Now that you've done the inner work, you've woken up, you've rediscovered who you really are. You've designed a life that reflects your values, desires, and dreams. But now comes the final and most challenging part, living it out loud, boldly, and consistently, in a world that doesn't always support you. Because make no mistake, the world loves people who conform, but it fears those who live life on their own terms. Jim Rohn said, the ultimate reason for setting goals is to entice you to become the person it takes to achieve them. Living your design is not just about achievement. It's about authenticity. Let's talk about how to live your truth in a noisy, distracted, and often critical world. Section 1, why most people shrink back. Here's a question worth asking. Why do people shrink after they've made progress? They start strong, they begin making changes, but then they get scared. Why? Because standing out is uncomfortable. Being different invites judgment. Choosing your path means rejecting the herd, and rejection is painful. The human instinct is to fit in, to be liked, to be accepted. But here's the cost: you either fit in with the crowd or you stand tall in your purpose. You can't do both. Section 2a. The enemies of authentic living. Let's name the enemies that show up when you try to live boldly. 1. Fear of criticism. You start thinking, what will they think? What if I fail publicly? What if I look foolish? But let me ask you, who are they? And more importantly, why do they matter more than your freedom? Jim Rohn would say, some will laugh, some will mock, some will admire, but none of them are paying your bills or living your life. 2. Imposter syndrome. You feel like a fraud, like you're not qualified to live this new life. But every master started as a beginner. The only way to silence imposter syndrome is with consistent action. 3. Comparison. You look left and right. Everyone seems ahead. Their life looks perfect. But here's the truth. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. Stay in your lane. Focus on your growth, your journey, your truth. Section 3, how to stay true. When the world pressures you, let's get tactical. How do you stay rooted in your path when the noise gets loud? 1. Daily anchor time. Start each day by reconnecting with your values and vision. This could be 30 minutes of silence, journaling, or reading your blueprint from part 3. The world will try to program you, unless you pre-program yourself each morning. Create a why statement. Example, I choose to live life on my terms because I refuse to die with regret. I'm designing my life to break generational cycles and lead by example. Put this on your mirror, your phone, your notebook. Read it daily. Let it harden your resolve. 3. Choose your circle. Build a small circle of people who get it. Even 1 or 2 people who support your journey can change everything. Jim Rohn said, you must constantly ask yourself, who am I around? What are they doing to me? Section 40. Be prepared for resistance. Let's be real, not everyone will support your transformation. Some people will feel threatened. Some will say, you've changed. Some will try to pull you back into the old version of yourself. Here's what to do. Accept it. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Your growth is not their obligation to understand. Don't argue. Demonstrate. You don't have to convince anyone. Let your life be the proof. Results speak louder than arguments. Stay grateful. But keep walking. You can love people and still outgrow them. You can be respectful and still move forward. Living on your terms will cost you comfort, but it will buy you peace. Section 50. Design integrity. Matching life to values. Living it loud doesn't mean being arrogant or loudmouth. It means living with alignment, where your choices reflect your deepest values. This is called design integrity. Ask yourself daily, is how I'm spending my time today aligned with the life I said I wanted? Is this decision moving me closer or farther from my designed life? This simple awareness builds a powerful life. When you live in alignment, you feel at peace. You stop explaining yourself. You become magnetic, not because you're trying to impress, but because you're living truthfully. Section 6C. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Here's what often stops people from continuing. I slipped up. I'm not consistent. I'm not perfect. Wes, what? No one is. Living life on your terms doesn't mean never falling. It means you get back up faster. Jim Rohn put it this way: discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. But discipline doesn't mean perfection. So celebrate small wins. You said no to something toxic? Celebrate. You woke up 30 minutes earlier? Celebrate. You journaled your vision? Celebrate. You turned off your phone to focus? Celebrate. Each step reinforces identity, and that identity shapes your destiny. Section 70A. Legacy thinking. Living beyond the moment. Here's the final level. Live your truth, not just for you, but for who's watching you. Your kids are watching. Your family is watching. Your friends, your community, they're all watching. They need to see someone live with courage. They need to know it's possible. Jim Rohn used to say, we all must suffer one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. So live today in a way that your future self and future generations will thank you for. Leave a trail of courage behind. Be the proof that it can be done. Section 80. Final message. Live it loud. Live it true. Let's bring it all home. You were not born to blend in. You were born to stand tall, to live intentionally, to wake up with fire in your heart and truth on your tongue. The world will ask you to shrink. Say no. The world will ask you to conform. Say no. The world will ask you to trade purpose for popularity. Say no. Instead, live it loud. Speak your values. Walk your design. Own your choices. You won't be perfect. You'll have setbacks. But if you stay true, you'll live a life that's rare, powerful, and deeply yours. And that, my friend, is what it means to live life on your terms, not by default.